How's it going, YouTube? Today we've got a full Facebook ads masterclass that I hosted privately inside my community, updated for 2025, and you are going to get full access to the newest strategies to run your first profitable campaign. If you're new to my channel, my name is Charlie. I've made 7 figures online selling services, and recently we've cracked Facebook ads to get a 4 to 5x return on ad spend, and I'm going to be giving you the secrets on how I do it. I'll put timestamps along the video so you can skip to whatever part you want, and thank you for 25,000 subscribers. I love every single one of you who watches my channel, and my promise to you is that the videos are only going to get better and better the more subscribers we get. So let's get into it. This will blow your mind if you don't know what it is, because you're probably thinking like, how can you lose money on ads but make money? This will be funny. Self-liquidating offers allow you to break even or even lose money. So you could lose $100, $200, $500 even on the front end, and then make money on the back end. What this means, once again, I'll provide you this resource. It would look something like this. You could run an ad, right, to a free lead magnet. That's where you collect data. And then after you collect the data, obviously they could just book a call, or it could be a $65 like order bump, basically, and then another order bump. But if we look at something that is, let me try and explain this as simply as possible. Okay, so let's go for this. So let's say your offer price is $0 because you provide a free lead magnet. And let's say you get 80 opt-ins and you make $0, right? And this is with a monthly budget of $1,900, so not bad. That's not too expensive. But let's say you have an order bump of $65, which is this one right here, which 20% of people take. You get 16 sales, which makes you $1,000. We lose $860, right? So you're thinking, how can you run unprofitable ads? Because hopefully this is making sense. You spend $1,900, you have a free lead magnet. Yeah, 20% of people take you up on the, like, let's say the second page, and you make $1,000, but you spend $1,900, so you lose that much. But here's the beautiful thing. If you have a high ticket offer that's, let's just say 4,500, or even less, it could be 2,500 or whatever, you would make $97,000 extra in a year, basically. And you'd make this much extra per month. So this is what I mean about how Starbucks and other companies pretty much dominate the market when it comes to just marketing, because they have, obviously they don't have a high ticket offer, but they just have such good LTV. So this is why if you ever have a low ticket community, please guys have a high ticket. But yeah, obviously put in your own metrics and it would just calculate it, dependent on what the, and these are like industry standard or average metrics pretty much. Who here knows the 5 stages of awareness? This is the final thing I want to cover before I get into the actual ad creatives. Partially aware, that's funny. So yeah, you need to understand, guys, why people take action in the first place. If you ever send DMs, cold emails, things like that, the people who actually book appointments with you, they are the ones that understand that their back hurts. Obviously, their back doesn't hurt. It's the fact that they're not getting enough customers, they're not getting enough appointments, what you're selling as your solution, right, guys? But that's why people book appointments, fundamentally. Obviously, there's more, like things underneath, like curiosity, things like that. But hopefully this is making sense and giving you a bit of clarity in terms of, why people book appointments. But then obviously solution aware, this would be typically on a sales call for most of you guys, where you walk them through your offer. And then product aware is, when they actually like understand that you have the solution to their problem. And then most aware is when they are problem aware, solution aware, and product aware. And that is when you receive money. So let's get into the juicy part, winning ad creatives, because it's what you care about most. So across all data, from my ads, from my network's ads, so other people, agency owners, coaches, things like that, static ads are by far the best performing ads. But this is wonderful, not only because I'm going to give you mock-ups, but also this means that you don't have to spend money on video ad creatives or things like that. So I'll also walk you through this strategy as well in a second, which is such a simple thing all of you can do, which is go onto your iPhone notes and put who you want to help at the top, put your offer or like a catchy hook, right? And then a screenshot, and then just value stack with a call to action down here, right? Very simple, but this is something, you can do in like, you can see here, this one looks more attractive. And if you post YouTube videos, guys, what you can do is you can find your best performing thumbnails with a high CTR, so click-through rate. So if you don't know what click-through rate is. When you post a YouTube video, YouTube gets put on the homepage with 20 other videos, and the percentage of people that click on your video, that is the click-through rate. So if you have a thumbnail with a high click-through rate, you can then have that in your iPhone notes, which you can put as an ad creative, and you can have that as a flow in terms of advertising. So this is getting a bit more complex, which is why I wanted to start with the basic stuff, but hopefully there's some marketers in here who enjoy like the more technical like stuff like this. But this is something literally everyone can do in 30 minutes. Just for context, let me go back a second. You'd want to do maybe 2 to 3 different headlines. And like what I was saying at the start of the call about how Facebook wants to make it as easy for you to make money on their platform, so then you continue to pay month after month. And the reason, it's getting easier and easier is because you just putting who you want to help in the headline, either for you or your clients, their technology and their algorithm can place that in front of that like avatar, if that makes sense, guys, right? Due to the advancements of AI and things like this. So it's getting easier and easier to run ads. Now, I don't see this as a bad thing, because some of you are wondering, if it's easier to run ads, then surely everyone's going to be doing it. But like what I said at the start, a lot of people have these bad beliefs around it that means they're never actually going to take action and have an abundant mindset to run ads and things like this. So obviously you would split test maybe 3 different headlines. So let's say I was targeting like personal trainers, fitness coaches. I would have personal trainers, fitness coaches, maybe, I don't know, a life coach or another. You could get like $30 booked calls by running this, by saying it's a free implementation call or free demo of an automation, and you'll help them on the booked call. Obviously, you can just sell them on the booked call, but you get the point. This is something everyone can do, which is why I wanted to incorporate it first, because it's super simple, super easy, and has the best results. Which is weird because it's the easiest to create. But this tells us that simplicity scales, right? I don't know if you've heard that saying, but I actually put another post a week ago or so, focusing on less but doing more of that specific thing is going to make you significantly more money than trying to do everything. I promise you. I've also spent like hundreds of dollars on fancy edits, right? So paying editors who told me that, their special edit is going to get the best results and stuff. But what did this give me? Nothing. I lost a ton of money. And these were like really, really strong edits with like really good hooks, things like that. So it's really funny how like the more effort and the more money I spend on like ad creatives and things like that, the less I actually make when it comes to the cost per appointment and cost per lead, which is really funny. So I believe unedited always wins when it comes to running ads and content now. So if you're posting on YouTube, unedited. If you're posting on Instagram, ideally unedited. I'm actually going to test some edited. I'll test an edited style today on my Instagram, but I'm a big believer in this. It's more personal. I would simply just hold my phone and talk to it. Obviously, you can cut it in CapCut to make it like more, so it's not like you stumbling, but it's more personal. It doesn't feel like an ad, because when people are scrolling, they're used to just like the boom, like in their face, like, I don't know, transition or whatever. But if you can just like, if it's a normal person they see when they're scrolling and it's just like calling them out, it's going to feel so much more natural. An example, from one of the best ad, performances in the world that made him like $30 million. There was no edits, nothing like that. Yet people still want to have the craziest edits. Okay, so these are ad sets. Now, once you enter the ads manager, and for context, guys, you can also, if you are a complete beginner to ads and you've never seen this before, I do recommend watching, I don't actually know where it's, okay, here. I do recommend just watching this paid ads module from start to finish, because it will teach you so much, just about all of this. But these are the ad sets. Now, ad sets are where you do like the targeting in terms of who you want to place your ads in front of, and I'll show you how to create a lookalike audience, all of this good stuff in a second. But it's very simple, just by clicking on create. Now, once you click on create, and obviously all of you can just go to Facebook or search maybe Facebook Business or Facebook Ads Manager, and you can just create an account and get yourself inside. But obviously it will look blank when you first open this. So the first thing is you're going to click on create and start a campaign, right? So yeah, for buying type, keep it as auction, that's fine. For choosing a campaign objective, now obviously if you want leads, like if you're doing the freemium model, which I talked about earlier, select leads. I personally do sales because I'm trying to get free trials and things like that. Yeah, but obviously, yeah, either leads or sales are my personal favorite. I wouldn't go for anything else if I was you guys. If you want like an actual ROI, if you're looking for more like Apple and Starbucks where they just want to keep people top of mind, I think that's fine. But it's like I want to get like a ROI. So yeah, let's just do sales as an example and click continue. It's then going to give you these two options. So I'm trying to make this as easy for you to understand. And obviously, after this call, if you are running ads or setting up for a client, let's say tomorrow or in a week, 2 weeks, whatever, you can hopefully just watch back this training and like do it side by side so it's not confusing. But yeah, advantage shopping campaigns. So this is what I'm talking about. Facebook have now made it so much easier for you guys to make this work. Now, this basically means that let's say you do the 9 static ads in terms of the different variations, and let's say one's performing well and one isn't performing well, or let's say like 8 are performing badly but one's performing good, right, which typically happens. Instead of you having to go into the ads manager, right, look at the money getting spent on the bad ones, which is used like a few months ago or a year ago, whatever, you had to do that. You literally had to go into the ads manager to put the budget towards the winning one. But now Facebook obviously do this automatically for you. So if they see an ad creative that's getting a cheaper cost per lead, more of the budget, let's say it's $25 a day, more of that $25 will go towards the winning one instead of your losing ones, if that makes sense, guys. So that's, yeah, you can see here, maximize performance by a simplified setup. Yeah, so it's just got things like this, basically. So you can do that if you want. Let me just mute that person. I'm gonna go for this one just to, yeah, walk you through what it would look like from scratch. But either one's fine. You can actually change some stuff in here. So let me walk you through this. Obviously, you would want to call it whatever you want to keep it, yeah, nice and simple so you remember it. So let me just do example. I don't know why it's not letting me. Okay, let's do example for, yeah, school. So yeah, campaign name doesn't obviously matter. That's just for you to remember. In case you run like different targeting. So let's say this campaign was dedicated towards like putting a ad in front of your Instagram followers. You would want to make that clear here, so you know, like what I showed you when I first opened my ads manager. I have like 10 different ad sets, all for like different targeting, right? So one could be Instagram followers, another one could be retargeting, so people that have clicked on my landing page but haven't actually opted in, right? Another ad set could be I don't know, a cold audience, which you typically wouldn't do unless you're making like 50K a month, because you can, yeah, I mean, if you don't have a brand, obviously you'd need to do like yeah, that. But obviously if you have like maybe 1,000 followers on Instagram, you would want to start with your warm network, right? But you get what I mean, right? Put the headline as something you'll remember for what the targeting is. Very important. So categories, you don't need to put anything here. Buying type, yeah, we did that earlier. Campaign objective. Now here's, yeah, that's obviously what we did earlier as well. So all of this is pretty easy to understand. This is just your budget, so how much you want to spend on this specific ad set for this specific group of people. So I personally wouldn't recommend doing less than, if you're doing a test phase, typically it would last 14 days and you would spend maybe $1,000 or $1,500. That's pretty common, right, for a test phase. So you can take a mental note of that or write it down for your clients. But yeah, you could do, I'm trying to think what that would be. So 14 days, yeah. Anyway, you get the point, right? You can put that, but you can then actually put it when you want it to end. So I believe with scheduling, you should be able to, yeah, if I can't find, I think it's, there's an option to put a end date, which, yeah, is somewhere here that, yeah, that you can find. But The one thing that you can do if you're starting out is do cost per result. This is kind of important. If you've never run ads before, you can basically put what you're aiming to get in terms of cost per lead, cost per appointment, things like that. And then obviously if you aren't getting that, it's going to slow the ad spend down just so you don't have to manually change stuff. But hopefully this makes sense. So you put the campaign name as your target audience, who you are targeting. Leave this as it is. You can change your ad budget there, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's actually not too confusing when you actually think about it. This is obviously, either highest volume or cost per result. I do highest volume, but if you're starting out, you can always do cost per result. So first of all, we want, this as just maximum number of conversions, obviously, they're very self-explanatory. This is like if you have multiple different ad sets, different targeting, different pixels. Obviously, this is why there's a lot you can do, which is why it looks confusing. But I promise you, it's not that confusing. You just select the pixel, and then for the, let me see, what's this? The conversion event. This is, so obviously just select what it is. So purchase, if you're doing like a direct to like, I don't know, community or whatever. If it's a free trial, you can put that as your like free lead magnet, I guess, or something like that. Or I think you can even do purchase as like they put in their details for the lead magnet, right? Because it just acts the same thing, and you'll get like the cost per result for what they consider is what you put it as, right? So it could be for whatever the pixel is. Does that make sense? So you just basically, I think purchase would work even if it's not a purchase, but it's them just like putting their details in. Here's the cost per result that you can change. But obviously you need, you need to go back to the ad set, and you'd need to put it as, it was here. You want to do, cost per result. So this is just in case you want to, I've tried this, and it depends, how like good you are, I guess, at ads, but you can then put in your cost per result, right? So if you want like a $5 cost per lead, you can then see, you can literally just put that right there. And if it isn't getting cost per lead, you can then just like change a few things. And you're going to need to adapt things, right? You can't just like expect to run profitable ads straight away, but with the ad creatives that I've shown you, they are already proven in terms of the formula. You just need to actually get some balls and like create an ad set and just do it. Because once you're like I was saying, it looks confusing, but once you actually do your first ad, and honestly, if you are, let's say you guys are, let's say you're selling ads in your offer, just spend like $5 a day. Like that's a coffee. Just get familiar with it. But the only way you're going to get familiar with it is just by like following this video whilst you're creating the ads manager, right? But I don't think, like, I wish someone would have told me when I first started, just like spend $5 a day on it and just don't get a coffee or whatever if you can't afford to. And you'll learn this shit so much quicker. And then you'll be more confident when you reach out to prospects because you'll know how it works. You'll know how to upload a pixel. You'll know how to, create an ad set, do the targeting, things like that. So you know what I mean? Just spend like, it's going to help you massively. Just get in the game, because the longer you're on the sidelines, that's like, you're just a bystander. You want to be in the game, in the advertising world as soon as you can. So just try and get, even if it's a little bit per day, just do it. But here you can actually select the end date, so start date and end date. So like what I was saying, you could always do a test phase of like 14 days for a client. Obviously that would want to be like $1,000, $1,500 if possible. You can select an end date for 14 days in advance, very simply. Hopefully this is making sense. Now here's the most important part, besides the actual like ad creative, it's probably the targeting. So here you can put location. So if you actually go here, you can actually put any country you want. I personally recommend, it's hard. I do UK and US. I've tried Australia, I've tried other places, and I'm sure they work. I just like how the US has so much money that they, obviously it's a bit more competitive, but once again, like competition only affects those that have like the same offer as everyone else. So if you can just be more unique in your ad creative, I think it's totally fine to go for the US. But I think UK and US is perfect. They're the people with the most money. Obviously everyone's gonna have a different opinion. You go on YouTube and someone can tell you like, don't do US, but at the end of the day, just experiment yourself with like $5 or $10 a day. But anyway, here's how if we go here, you can obviously put the age that you want to target for, very simply. The genders, if you wanted to do that, I'd leave that blank. Demographics, if you wanted to. And then I believe if we create a new one, you can then choose custom audience and lookalike audience. Super important. So custom audience is reach people who have already interacted with your business. So this could be engaged leads. So anyone that's followed you on Instagram or your clients on Instagram, anyone who's liked your content. This is like perfect for like typically known as retargeting ads, right? You've probably heard that term being thrown out there quite a lot. So what you could do is you could have two ad sets, right? One could be a custom audience with the exact same ad creative, and then another one could be a lookalike audience, and just see which one's performing best. Obviously, the custom audience would 99% of the time always do better because these are people that know who you are, and that's typically where you would start with ads, right? You would always start with who you know. Like when you're trying to get clients for yourself, if there's anyone you know who's a business owner, it makes sense to go to them because they already trust you. So start with custom audience and put your sources. So obviously where these, like you just need to give Meta like an understanding of like who the hell are these leads and where they come from. So your sources could be like Instagram account, click next, and you don't even need to like upload a CSV because I think it's just gonna do it from your account. Right? So this is my Instagram account. Think about how insane that is. And so everyone who is engaged with this account, you can literally select like who has saved any posts of yours, who's visited your profile. That's another good one. But I personally go with who's engaged. So this is like the most overpowered way to get like just an instant return on investment. And I've never seen anyone, and Hormozy said this as well, so it's not just me, but I've never seen anyone lose money from doing this, right? If you post content on Instagram or you post content on Facebook and you have likes and a few followers of people in your niche, I've never seen anyone get less than like a 2x return on investment from doing this engaged targeted ads. It doesn't happen. Yet people don't understand this because they're too scared to run ads. It's like, it's not impossible, but you'd have to mess up quite a lot to not get an ROI on this. You simply put the account which is already connected. Obviously you got the event which you talked about. Audience name, you can just select as like Instagram followers. I don't know if you need to type, I think you do. So you can just put like Instagram followers and then just click next. I don't want to actually create an audience, so I've already got an ad set with it. I don't think it'll matter because I won't publish it, but once you select that, you're done. That's all you need to do, right? Just create a new, create audience. It's not a new audience, it's an audience. And obviously you can select if you want like older people to buy or book appointments and the demographic as well. But placements, I just let Meta place it where it's performing best. But that's basically it, right? So that is the ad set in terms of the targeting, the budget. I don't know what else we covered. Just the pixel and just like naming the ad set. Now, once you click next, you can then upload the ad creative. So this is how you're going to upload the ad creative, right? You're going to put the website. So this is going to be your landing page. You're going to put the display link. This is also going to be your landing page. You're going to click none here. None of this, it doesn't really matter that much. And then if we go up here, there should be, I don't want to publish it. If you set up creative, you'll basically, for source, this doesn't really matter. You can put like the landing page as well and just put, get a free demo or whatever you want. And then once you click like next, let me see if I can click next here. Okay, I can. You can now just put the text that you want it to have. So primary text, it could look something like this. So coaches stuck under 5K a month. Listen up, right? And then you can add some emojis to make this more exciting. And you can also do a different text example. So this is what the headline or the primary text would look like. And you can see that it even does copywriting for you. I wouldn't recommend doing ChatGPT for this. I'd recommend doing it. I mean, you can get ChatGPT to do it, but just make sure you manually review it. Otherwise, it's probably not going to be too good. And then just do different variations of this underneath. and do a few different ones. So this just helps like ad fatigue. So the ads won't get like fatigued after a week, right? So the more variations you do, the better. I recommend like doing 3 if possible. And then, yeah, headline can be the same. So I honestly don't know the difference between headline and primary text. I think they're very similar, but just do the same. That's what I always do and get a good cost per lead. And then description, right, is something like this. I actually created this earlier for you guys, and I'll put this Google Doc in there as well. So what we found, let me zoom in on this. You're going to love this. So if you look at anyone, if we go to, so as I mentioned, there's a question here. Questions are key because it gets the viewer to stop. You can just value stack different stuff here. And then ideally it wants to be free. So this is what you would place into here. So if we go back into the ads manager, you can place that in like this. And that's perfect. Now you've got the description on Instagram. And it could even be like this, right? Struggling to find high quality leads and appointments, right? That could be your headline. So once you do that, you then, this is the final thing, and then you're pretty much done, guys. You can click next, and you can just upload your ad creative. So if I click upload, and I select, let's do this one, you can see that it's uploading. Just for context, if you're doing static ads, I recommend going to Canva. This would have saved me so much time if I knew this when I started. But please, if you're doing static ads, you can see here that I go for 1080 by 1080, which on Canva you can do very easily just by going to the homepage, click on Instagram post square, and this is like the best placement, so it gets on all the ones. But if you're doing the iPhone notes, just make it black. Very, very important. You can just make it black, and then just like put in your upload like this, and then just make it fit the screen, right? And then download it, and then go back to Meta and just click on it, and then click next, and you can see here that it fits perfectly, right? Obviously this one doesn't, but you can just make it like this, and that's still fine if there's a bit on the top, on the bottom. And if, for example, Meta know that there's like a blank space here, so they can put your headline, which if you remember earlier was like, I can't remember what I put, but you get the point. And you can put this as original because I don't want it placing onto this one, but hopefully this kind of makes sense, guys, and I'm not confusing you all. From that point on, you can skip that, you can click done, and you can see here that we now have a perfect ad that is coaches stuck in the 5K per month, listen up. You can add emojis to spice it up. I recommend doing that. It's got the headline right here, right? Learn more typically always does best. I've tried sign up as the call to action, but learn more is typically best. But you can see that you've got exactly who you are calling out to resonate. 1080 by 1080 means that it fits the thing perfectly, which you can get on Canva really quickly. I just showed you. And then you can see here that it kind of, it kind of fits all different ones. So even for stories, look how perfect that looks, because it's going to show on the stories without, like, I had it before where it would cut off like certain parts of the ad creative, like the headline. So 1080 by 1080 fits like all the ratios, right? Whether it's stories, it even posts it onto the explore page occasionally. So yeah, I think that should help you a lot. So this is perfect. And then for music, you can see here that you can, I wish there were more options for this, because I'd put some hilarious music options for like, I don't know, my ads, but it gives you really, really shit like audio suggestions, like classical, like, I don't know. But anyway, I have it turned on just because you can see here, or I think, where is it? I saw it earlier. Okay, yeah, it says add music to your ad. So I think, over 50% of video watch time on Instagram feed is spent with sound on. So basically most people have sound on compared to sound off. So that's why it's probably worth just having it on, even if it's a bad audio. It won't do your ad any harm. And then once you click done, you are done pretty much. You can see here that you now have like an ad example, and you can do these iPhone ad creatives really quickly, like what I showed you earlier. And you can see that it gives the headline even more power, because it's now putting your headline at the top. So it fills in the blank space if it's like on a story ratio, because you know the ratio between an Instagram post and story is like different. It fills in that gap, which is really nice. And now the only thing you need to do is once you click publish, hopefully this doesn't actually, I mean, my ads aren't turned on, so it won't spend any money. But once you click publish, obviously this doesn't matter. If it says like, we're not going to run it in a certain placement, that's totally fine. I think that's, yeah, so for example, it's not going to put it onto the rewarded videos. I have no idea what rewarded videos are, but you're never going to need that anyway, right? We want it onto the Instagram post, Instagram reel, Instagram story, and we're pretty much good to go from that point on, and Facebook. They just won't, yeah, so it'll place it into like 30 different mediums of content. So having it not place in one, which no one checks, doesn't matter. But now all you need to do is click on the three dots. So I would call this something like static one, right? Or something like that, right? And then all you need to do is click on this and click quickly duplicate. And then you want to duplicate it 6 times. So what that would look like is this. If you click, you can see that it's done 1, right? We can do another one just by clicking on duplicate. So now you see how we have 3 already right here. Obviously, I'm not going to do all 6, but once you quickly duplicate it, all you need to do then is keep everything the exact same. All you need to do is just go on the copy, right? Because we duplicated it inside, and you just need to change the ad creative for a slightly different headline. So you would delete it, right? You would delete the ad media, and then you would upload the next one. So you just go through this process again, right? And instead of selecting, like, I think we did this one, we could select this one, which you see is a different thumbnail. I'm not actually going to click on it, but you would just upload the different ad creative inside the same ad set. But hopefully this makes sense. And obviously, as I mentioned, it's probably not going to make sense until you actually just spend, like, even if you just do $30 or something, guys. And you'll probably get like an appointment or two that you can make your first client from. So I would recommend doing it. Like, there's not much you can mess up, especially if you're doing, a small amount.